In the heart of the royal palace, amid its towering walls and gilded rooms, hidden behind velvet curtains and the serene, polished smiles of its inhabitants, lies a secret that has the power to reshape the entire British monarchy. It's a secret that few were privy to, yet it would become the talk of the nation. Princess Anne, known for her sharp tongue and fierce loyalty to her family, has made a revelation that is nothing short of earth-shattering. Her words were not spoken lightly, but they carry with them the weight of history and the shifting tides of royal power. It was an unassuming evening when the quiet murmur of royal discussions grew hushed. Behind the grand doors of Buckingham Palace, Princess Anne, as direct and candid as ever, revealed a startling truth about the future of the British monarchy, one that had been hidden for years, wrapped in layers of secrecy and royal decorum. This revelation would not only shake the foundation of the family, but it would also change the course of history for Britain. "I've often watched Catherine," Princess Anne said, her eyes scanning the room, "and I believe Queen Elizabeth always saw her as the one destined to take on the weight of the crown." The words hit like a thunderclap in the still night air, and for a moment, the room seemed to hold its breath. Queen Elizabeth II, who had lived through the tumultuous decades of her reign with grace and resilience, had quietly prepared the monarchy for a future she knew would require change. That future, Princess Anne confirmed, was Kathryn's to inherit. Kathryn, the wife of Prince William, once considered by many to be the dutiful consort of a future king, was now to be regarded as the true future of the British monarchy. This wasn't just a simple passing of the torch, it was the dawn of a new era. But what made Anne's words even more powerful was what followed them. "Before she passed," and continued, "the Queen left us all a letter. It was addressed to all of us, and it was clear Kathryn was the key to the future." Anne's voice, usually composed, betrayed a hint of emotion. The letter, which had remained sealed for years, contained a directive unlike any other. It was a message of trust and a recognition of the changing times. Queen Elizabeth knew that the monarchy could no longer rely on tradition alone. She had seen the writing on the wall: change was inevitable, and it would come from within the royal family itself. The news was both shocking and awe-inspiring. Queen Elizabeth, the longest-reigning monarch in British history, had left a legacy that would continue even after her death. She had seen in Catherine something that few had acknowledged. Catherine was not just the Duchess of Cambridge, not just the mother of heirs. She was the future. The monarch-to-be. For those in the room, members of the royal family who had long been accustomed to playing their roles within the confines of centuries-old tradition, the revelation was a profound moment. For Queen Camilla, it was a blow to her carefully crafted position. As the consort to King Charles III, Camilla had worked hard to redefine her role in the monarchy, proving her loyalty and commitment to the crown. But with this new information, it became abundantly clear that the future of the monarchy, its stability, and its influence would no longer revolve solely around her. Camilla's path had been one of survival, but Kathryn's path was one of undeniable destiny. Kathryn, as it had always been predicted, would one day step into her role not just as the wife of a future king, but as the monarch in her own right. The world had seen glimpses of her potential, her poise, her elegance, her charity work, and her calm demeanor in the face of scrutiny. But now, more than ever, it was clear that Kathryn was not just a figurehead, but a leader in her own right. She would carry the monarchy through a new era, one that demanded adaptability, relevance, and a strong connection to the modern world. But the matter did not end there. The contents of Queen Elizabeth's letter were not to be taken lightly. Anne's voice lowered, as though afraid that speaking too loudly might somehow diminish the enormity of what she had just shared. The Queen wrote that Kathryn's strength would lie not just in her ability to carry the title of Queen, but in her ability to unite a fractured nation. Queen Elizabeth, a monarch who had navigated the turbulent waters of political upheaval, public scandal, and global crises, had placed her faith in Kathryn to heal the royal family's fractures. The letter wasn't simply about who would wear the crown, it was about the future of the monarchy as a symbol of unity, tradition, and modernity intertwined. In the days that followed Anne's admission, the royal family faced growing pressure. The media began to speculate wildly, with pundits and historians alike attempting to piece together the puzzle of Queen Elizabeth's final wishes. What had been her vision for the monarchy? And why had she chosen Kathryn? Were there other signs, other hidden clues, that hinted at this future? For many, This was an unsettling revelation because it was not just about Kathryn's fitness for the role. It was about the monarchy's survival in a time of rapid change. Camila, once seen as the outsider, found herself questioning her place in this new world. Her role had always been controversial, a complex and often divisive one. She had endured public disdain, whispers behind closed doors, and the challenge of being accepted as the queen consort. But now, with Anne's revelation, it seemed that the monarchy's future was moving beyond her reach. Kathryn was the future, and Camila, no matter how much she tried to shape her legacy, was now seen as a transitional figure. But despite the shock that rippled through the royal ranks, there was something undeniably powerful about Kathryn's position. She was, after all, the embodiment of what Queen Elizabeth had worked so tirelessly to preserve, the monarchy as a symbol of continuity and resilience. Yet Kathryn, by her very nature, represented a future that would need to evolve. She would be the queen who bridged the past with the future, ensuring that the monarchy could survive the modern world while still holding on to the values that had sustained it for centuries. Her strength, however, would not come easily. The expectations placed on her shoulders were immense. But she had already proven, through her grace and dedication to her charitable causes, that she was capable of handling whatever came her way. The world watched as Kathryn moved through this uncertain time, her every step under the microscope. There were whispers of doubt, of course. Some questioned whether she was ready for the responsibility, while others saw only the promise of greatness. For Kathryn, the moment had arrived. Her destiny was no longer a distant possibility. She was now the beacon of hope for the monarchy, the one who would guide it through a time of unprecedented change. Her role was not just that of a mother, a wife, or a princess. She was now the future queen of the United Kingdom, and the world would be watching to see how she navigated this monumental responsibility. But what about Queen Camila? What role would she play in this new monarchy? And how would the rest of the royal family adapt to the new reality that Princess Anne had revealed? These questions would not go unanswered for long. The royal family, despite its tradition of stoic silence, was about to enter a new chapter, one that would be shaped by Kathryn and her ability to lead. The monarchy's future now lay in her hands. And in that moment, Princess Anne's revelation echoed through the halls of Buckingham Palace. The future was Kathryn's to define, and the royal family's destiny would never be the same again. And as if that wasn't enough, the royal family itself faced new struggles. There were murmurings that Charles III, while the king, was beginning to show signs of uncertainty. His reign, perhaps more than any before, was one marked by whispers of division and questions over his legacy. Could he truly steer the monarchy through these turbulent times, or had his mother's foresight in preparing Kathryn meant that Charles was merely a stepping stone to a new era? The pressure on Charles only grew when the letter from the late Queen was finally revealed to the public, its contents dissected under the harsh glare of the media. It was no longer just an inner family matter, it was now a national issue, discussed at every corner of the kingdom. For the royal family, this revelation became an unexpected crucible. The monarch, caught between the legacy of his late mother and the monumental destiny awaiting his son's wife, found himself questioning his role. The spotlight, which had once been solely on him, had now shifted. Kathryn's fate was sealed, but what about his own? Was he truly ready to pass the torch to the next generation, or would he remain a monarch clinging to the old ways, to the power he'd always known? As these questions began to swirl around the palace, it became clear that the royal family was entering a new era of uncertainty, of change, and perhaps even reinvention. The monarchies of the past had been built on tradition, but as Queen Elizabeth's letter so clearly stated, the future was not going to wait. The new wave was coming, and Kathryn was poised to ride it. The British monarchy, as it had existed for centuries, would never be the same again.